What's going on Facebook? What's going on Instagram? Welcome everyone. My name is Kimberly Prosperity out of Pooler, Georgia, and I talk about a lot of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. I be all over the place. I have a short attention span. But most recently I've gotten into, having me a little sweet moss, okay? But most recently I've gotten really into consumer protection law, and some of you, I've shared with you guys some of the stuff that I'm learning because I feel like I have a moral obligation to do so. And you've expressed interest in like, oh my gosh, what is this stuff? Because I'm telling y'all, once you hear it, you'll be like, what? So I was going to share with you all the first 2 pages of this book that I posted the other day. Many of you grabbed it. Some of you already had it because we travel in the same circles. And so I'm in deeper than the first 2 pages, but I was going to go back to the first 2 pages and just give you a sneak peek right quick. Okay? That's good. It'll help me with my focus. All right, so here we go. And I will be leaving the link to this book in my Facebook, in my YouTube description box, and my Facebook comments. I'll also leave it on Instagram, but you know the links are like not clickable. So unless you're on your desktop, then you can copy and paste it that way. All right. So let's just get into it. Okay. Page 1. Let's have a little quiz. It says the Capitol. They're showing this building, and then they say who meets there, right? What do they do there? Do they help you in any way? All right. So it says if your answers are members of the government to who meets there, what do they do there? If you said they represent all the people living in the country, and then to the question, do they help you in any way? If you said, yes, they create laws to protect me and my family. It says, then let me congratulate you on getting every one of your answers wrong. Didn't do too well on that quiz? Okay, let's have another go. Question number 4. When was slavery abolished? Number 5. Was slavery legal? And number 6. Are you in debt to a financial institution? Flip the page. Here are the answers. The first question number 4, I like to refer back. When was slavery abolished? No. Hold on. Oh, when was slavery abolished? Okay. Slavery has never been abolished, and you yourself are considered to be a slave right now. Question number 5. Yes, slavery is legal, although it's not lawful. You need to discover the difference. Now, see, the Bureau bullies talk all the time about legal versus lawful. And then question number 6, which, remember, refresher. Question number 6 was, are you in debt to a financial institution? No, you are not in debt to any financial institution. What? So now we get into the nitty gritty. Does this seem strange to you? If it does, then read on. Those in power have a big secret. Paying tax is optional. Registering a vehicle is optional. Paying a fine is optional. Attending a court is optional. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Surprise? Well, try this on for size. Every mortgage and loan is fully repaid from day 1. You can pay it again if you want to, but you don't have to. If no one has told you that you have a straw man, then this could be a very interesting experience for you. Your straw man was created when you were very young. Far too young to know anything about it. But then it was meant to be a secret, as its purpose is to swindle you. And it has been used very effectively to do just that ever since it was created. Now, you know, I said I was going to share the first 2 pages, but I feel the spirit. I feel like that would be wrong for me to stop right here. Okay, so we're going to go on to page 3. Perhaps it's about time that you learn about your straw man and how you can stop it being used against you. And I want you to put down in the comments, y'all, have you ever heard of this straw man? Have you ever heard of the concept of a straw man? I was recently just first exposed to it only a few months ago through the Bureau bullies. Now, Perhaps it is about time that you know that you learned about your straw man and how you can stop it from being used against you. Knowing about it is the most important first step. You need to go on a journey of discovery, and I'm afraid that what you are about to discover is not very pleasant. However, if you decide to act on what you learn, it could change your life for the better. If you think that you are in debt, then you can get out of it if you are willing to stand up for your rights and refuse to be swindled any longer. Interested? If so, then let's start at the beginning and find out where your straw man came from and why you should care about it. Don Johnson said, I haven't heard of the straw man. I had not either up until a few months ago, okay? It all started when your parents had a happy event and you entered the world. You don't know exactly when that was because you were not aware of the days of the weeks and the months and the year or even what year it was. Even after some months had gone by, you were still not aware of these things. But by that time, your straw man had already been created and it was being used to make some very unscrupulous people rich. None of this was your fault. It happened because your parents were fooled into thinking they needed to register your birth and get a birth certificate for you. So they applied for a birth certificate, not understanding what would happen when they did. Well, then what did happen? According to the local authority, they lost ownership of their baby. They allowed a straw man to be created. This is not something you can blame them for, okay? As nobody told them it would or even could happen. Nor did anybody tell your parents what a straw man is or how it could be used against their baby. In actual fact, the registration is a contract which is in reality null and void because there was no full disclosure by the local authority, nor was there an intent to contract on the part of your parents. Shall I read on? Should I? Never heard of a straw man either, Denise Hicks? Should I read on? I said I was only going to do 2 pages, but I've done 3. Should I read on? Yes? Yes? Okay. Let's continue, class. The registering of the baby's birth passes ownership of the baby to the local authority, and that alone allows the local authority to take the child away from the parents if they ever want to do that. This applies until the child reaches the age of maturity set by the current legal statutes. Doing that is not unlawful. Doing that is not lawful. But after the birth has been registered, it is legal. And there is a world of difference between those 2 terms. A difference which is very important that you come to clearly understand. This is why I like to read out loud, guys, and I strongly encourage you, if you ever have the chance, read aloud because you will hear things that you won't hear when you read silently, okay? Legal and lawful, there's a difference. I never even thought about it till a few months ago. Thank you, Bureau Bullies and Asma. All right? So what is a straw man? A straw man is a fictitious legal entity created with the hope that as a child grows up, he will be fooled into believing that he is actually the straw man, which he most definitely is not, and pay all sorts of imaginary costs and liabilities which get attached to the straw man by con artists. How is a straw man created? Well, the mechanism involves that unnecessary birth certificate, which the parents imagine is about and belongs to their baby, neither of which is actually true. If the baby has been named James and the family name is Martin, then you would expect the birth certificate to have the name James Martin printed on it. But if that is what is printed on it, then all is well and it's a genuine birth certificate and nothing more. However, if any other name is there, then the document is not a birth certificate, but instead is the creation of a straw man masquerading as James Martin. The alternative entries might be any of the following example: James Martin in all caps, Mr. James Martin, Martin, comma, Mr. James, or anything else which is not exactly James Martin and nothing else. James Martin with a capital J and a capital M, everything else lowercase. Why create a straw man? The answer is, in order to charge the straw man an imaginary cost and penalties and fool the human, James Martin, into paying those amounts, I said that wrong because of my intonation. Let me say it over again. Why create a straw man? The answer is in order to charge the straw man imaginary costs and penalties and fool the human James Martin into paying those amounts. These imaginary charges include income tax, council tax, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, roll tax, import tax, value-added tax, fuel levy, loan interest, bank charges, and anything else that full-time professionals can think of and are confident that you will not notice that you never agreed to pay and don't need to pay. I advise my students to read and do that all the time for the reason. Read aloud, it's powerful. But most of us say we don't have the time, and therefore we lose a lot of our understanding or our understanding because we're reading too quickly in our head. And we all know that in our head, there's all types of stuff going on, too crazy stuff. So whatever we're reading internally gets lost in the sauce. But when we put it out, right? When we read aloud, we're stimulating our senses. We look at it, we're reading it, we're saying it, and then we're hearing it. More senses involved. Legalese. Legalese is a secret language invented to trick you. It uses English words, but attaches secret meanings to those words with the sole intention of stopping you from believing that what you are saying to you has nothing to do with the normal meaning in the English language. Their purpose is to cheat you and rob you. Now, this is one of my favorite parts. For example, they will ask you, do you understand? In English, that means, do you comprehend what I'm saying to you? And the automatic response will be yes, meaning I do comprehend what you're saying to me. But these sneaky, underhanded people have changed the meaning in legalese to mean, do you stand under me? Meaning, do you grant me the authority over you so that you have to obey whatever I tell you to do? Bloop. What makes it even worse is the fact that they will never tell you that they have switched from English to legalese. And if that is not dishonest, underhand, and unscrupulous, then I don't know what is. If you answer the question believing that English is being spoken, then they pretend that you are contracting with them to become subordinate to them. Whether or not that is actually true is debatable, because that is effectively a verbal contract between you and them. And for any contract to be valid, there has to be full and open disclosure of all the terms of the contract, and then unreserved acceptance by both parties. And in these cases, that has most definitely not occurred. But what is the point of all this? Well, this maneuver is intended to trick you into agreeing to represent your straw man. Why? Now that's a good question. But to answer it takes a bit of explaining, and you need to understand the overall situation. All humans are born equal with complete freedom of choice and action. If you live in the same place as a lot of other people, then there are a few restrictions which have grown up by common consent over time. These restrictions are for your protection and the protection of the other people living near you. These restrictions are called the law, or more accurately, common law. And they are few in number and very easy to understand. We'll stop there. So I'll include the link to this book down below so you can do for self and read it for yourself. The book is like in the price range of $5. I had pretty much everybody on my team who has come along with me on my credit journey and subsequently gone down the rabbit hole of consumer protection education. They've bought that book. And we are reading it together. So I did not want to leave you guys out. This is one of the benefits of being attached to me. But I'm telling y'all, Bureau Bullies, Asma, Kiki, Creditogenics, Bree Hive, so many people, Brother Truth, the list goes on, right? Once you get connected to one person, you get connected to a lot of people. There's a power in connection. And I'm telling y'all, there's so much out there. This might sound crazy, and I understand if you think that at first, because that's what I thought at first. This is so counter to everything that I've learned my whole entire life. Like, what are you talking about? But when your eyes see certain things, you can't deny it, right? Seeing is believing, and believing is seeing. So when I see proof of people who have gotten quote unquote debts, which really should never refer to a debt as a debt, you should say a debt or the alleged debt, When I've seen people that have gotten things, they no longer pay for things that previously they thought they had to pay for, then I have to believe it because it's right there in front of me. When I talk to people who say within a few months of getting my, now, disclaimer, I'm not a legal person. I don't give legal advice. I'm not telling you not to pay your bills. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just reading a book to you and talking. That's it. This is strictly for entertainment purposes, okay? Because y'all ain't going to have me out here hemmed up. Kim told me. Now, Kim ain't told you nothing, okay? But when I paid to go to the money bag tour, and I literally sat in front of a gentleman who got a car in June of this year, and by the money bag tour, which was August, he had the car title free and clear because he knew his rights. Number one, he knew. By the way, he had been studying for a year. So all of you get rich quick people, this ain't for you. All right. So this young man, who was younger than me, had been studying his consumer laws for a year. He came to the tour with all his contracts, with all his statements. We don't call them bills, we call them statements. All of them marked up with the laws in force. It was mind-boggling to me. I was blown away during the break. Everybody crowded to this young man because he had done so many incredible things by, number one, knowing who he is, a consumer and natural person, not a citizen. And number two, studying the laws. And number three, having the guts, the gall, the chutzpah to enforce the laws. It all works together. So this is not an overnight thing. This is a night by night thing, like Kiki and Renee say. But it's powerful. You know, I remember getting into this profession of MLM and tapping into personal development and positive thinking. And they were like, imagine your bills as money in the mail, as checks in the mail. And now understanding these consumer protection laws, I'm like, dang, literally. Do y'all know that some people are literally turning, not their bills, we're going to call them statements. Some people are literally turning their statements into checks in the mail. YK, if you know, you know. The people on my team know what I mean by that, know how they're doing that. You can pay for something that's already been paid for, or you can make them pay you for violating your rights. But you can't do it if you don't know how to. And you definitely can't do it if you don't know who you are. So I invite anybody who cares, right? And this video is not going to get a lot of views, I know, because this is not a sexy topic. And I didn't come in here dressed sexy. I don't have it on any name brand stuff. This is not a robe courtesy of Versace. This is a robe courtesy of TJ Maxx. So most of you won't care. But for those who do, you know, I'll leave the link for you. You can check it out for yourself, right? And I would love to know what you think about it. Because that young man who was behind me on the money bag tour, and there were many others in the room, he got his car title free and clear. Free and clear. For a car that he only had a few months. Because they violated his laws, his rights in the car contract. And it made me pull out my car contract and start making notes about the laws and violations, and I'm getting ready to enforce. I got to pull the trigger. Y'all know I suffer from analysis paralysis, but seeing what all other people around me have done from, I'm not going to go into detail, but seeing what other people just like me have done is like amazing to me, because once I get this, and I will get this, then guess what? I can pass this on to my son. He will live a totally different life. His life will be so much better. You know why? Because I, at 42 years young, I'm having to unlearn everything I've been taught my whole entire life to relearn what is really the truth. He won't have to unlearn it. It'll be all he knows. And this is so powerful. Why? Because my son might not want to sell these products. He might not have the savvy on the internet that I have. Shoot, by the time he's my age, the internet might not even be what the internet is now. But if I teach him these laws, because people do what? Most people work to pay. We'll use the term bills because that's what y'all are familiar with. Most people work to pay bills. So what if you didn't have to pay bills? Well, now we're working with something different, right? That's what I want for my son. And that's what I want for my son's children. And now that I know that it is possible, oh baby, That's why y'all haven't seen a lot of me. Because my head been in the books. I've been in my fuzzy robe and I'm having my glasses on. I'm going to get back to making my videos about other stuff, but it's a new day and age. Yes, it is. Teach, sis. We are never too old to learn. No, we are not. No, we are not. But anyway, guys, what did you think about what I just read to you? Do you know the book that I am reading from? Again, if you want the book, it's only about $5 or so. It's pennies. I have paid literally $500, $600, $700 for some of the books that I am studying right now. So, and for those of you who are like, oh my gosh, I paid way more than that for my college textbooks that I never even used. Some of you are sending your kids money for college textbooks and the money that they're paying for those books are crazy. Some of them are in school only for a quarter and they might crack the book once or twice. So I really don't want to hear it. Okay? I don't look at the cost of things. I look at the value of it. All right? And I encourage you to do the same. So let me know down below. Are you into consumer protection laws? Right? Did I make you want to get into it? Right? Are you going to purchase the book? Right? Are you going to read the book if you have it? Because it's only like 70 pages. It's a very small book, but it packs a punch. All right? So let me know. Converse with me. Don't just take from my lives, take the information and go about your merry way. Dialogue with your girl. Give me some feedback. Give me some energy, okay? All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Like, subscribe, do all the things that pay me on social media. And yeah, that's it. Bye.